I have experience, you know. So now a lot of things are working. So actually, whatever I want, I can do it in a way. But the thing is that back in the day, back in the beginning, especially with markets, so I started from Europe and then moved to US with my products. So I thought that, okay, I will just do the same in PPC as I did in UK to US. No, it's not working like that. PPC in US is way more expensive. You don't know how to do the correct ad spend. You don't know what the bids can be. You know, I was seeing like $3 bids, $4 bids, and I was like, damn it, the same product in UK, like the bid maybe, I don't know, 50 cents or 50 pence or something. And now it's like $3.5. Oh my God. And then you lose money. The ACoS starts to be like 200%. You try to make it lower, you make it to 50%. But if your ACoS is more than 30%, it's difficult to win. It's difficult to make money. You know, in a way that we're looking for the ROI to be 100 to 150 and the profit to be 25 to 35%. That's the winner product always.
One thing is people like don't pay attention to the pay-per-click enough, and that seems weird, but I've seen so many people run a campaign and then they like 2 weeks later they realize that, oh, I have 300% ACoS and I spent like $200 and I got one sale. It's something that you have to have a process to optimize and to take a look and to verify like your pay-per-click and to actually optimize it. So the process can be different for everyone, but what I recommend is at least every 2 days, like taking a look at your campaigns, because sometimes you're going to forget. Like if you have a lot of campaigns, you're going to forget about them. But so you want to optimize the campaign, and probably the biggest mistake is not keeping track of the metrics. For example, what is your total ACoS? So your total ACoS would be the total ad spend divided by the total sales of your account. This way you get I think it's a much better metric than just looking at the ACoS, because if your ACoS is 60%, which a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's way too high, you're losing money, but your total ACoS is like 8%, then it doesn't matter that much, because what that means is, yes, you're not profitable on the few sales that you make through your pay-per-click, but it's still driving sales to your account, and ultimately it's such a small portion of your total sales that it doesn't have a very big impact. So keeping track of the total ACoS, the ratio of organic sales and pay-per-click sales. Do you have, because when you're launching, most likely you're going to have maybe more than 50% sales are going to be from pay-per-click. But you want to keep track, because it's good. It's fun and all to pay for Amazon pay-per-click, but ultimately you don't want to rely only on Amazon pay-per-click to get sales. So we want to make sure that you have a ratio that we're fine with is 80-20, 80% of our sales are organic and 20% that come from pay-per-click. We're fine with that. But yeah, one mistake that bigger mistake we do is just not tracking everything, because if you're not tracking, as I mentioned, those things, you don't know how well you're actually doing, versus when you're doing changes, you don't know have they been impactful. So just using the bulk operation thing on on Amazon Campaign Manager, you can do bulk operation. What we've done was to create an Excel file where we copy paste all the results from the bulk operation, and then we have certain columns that look at if you get 10 clicks but no sales, then you're going to turn off that campaign. If your ACoS is between let's say 40 and 50%, then we reduce the bid by 10%. It's a very mechanical approach. You don't have to think about it, and because you want to use the same approach to optimize. Anyway, what's what for us is you use the same approach like every single week to optimize your campaign, because if you do it on the fly, let's say, oh, I'm going to reduce this bid by 8 cents, this bid by 25 cents, like it makes no sense, and you don't really know like how well it's working for you. Like, is it because I reduce this bid for this keyword by 5 cents or this keyword by 8 cents? Anyway, you want to make sure that it's very structured, and using bulk files and creating some rules for your business. Like, if the ACoS is this, we do this. If it's that, we do that. And we close this campaign, or we increase the bid if it's too low, etc. So I think people don't pay enough attention or keep track of the numbers, and they also don't use replicable processes in the business.
You know, a good one to talk about is like campaigns, for example. Not having a good campaign strategy, not understanding how to use campaigns can be really hard, not monitoring your campaigns. So last year I was introduced to Takeometrics, which allows you to automate a lot of your campaign management. So your hourly bids for your different keywords, your different campaigns, looking at not just your sort of total ACoS, but actually your product or SKU level profitability is really, really helpful, and decreases the amount of time that I need and the level of expertise I need to be able to successfully manage that. So not having tools in place to help you manage the CPC side of things can be a huge mistake that we make. We see companies that have no strategy with campaigns. They're hiring somebody to do it, or they're trying to do it themselves. The ACoS is like at 85%. They're actually losing money with every sale. And at that point, you're not helping yourself any. You're actually hurting the business. So not having a clear strategy and not utilizing tools to help you manage and monitor things like campaigns would probably be the second biggest mistake that I've faced myself or seen other sellers face. I've seen companies that were running at a 50% ACoS, and just using a tool like Ignite or Takeometrics was able to bring that down to a very manageable 14-15% ACoS just by adding the tool and taking the recommendations. So that's a huge increase in profitability without necessarily increasing the sales, just reducing the spend on keywords that were incorrect or bad or weren't working. So really significant decrease in the expenditure without decreasing your sales overall.
I've also seen some automation doing advertising. So there's lots of companies. Ignite is a good tool that we've heard of before, where you can come in and automate your advertising process. So automatically adjusting bids up or down, automatically helping cipher which keywords are working and not working inside those tools.